Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and welcome to week 49 of the Content Creator live streams for GTA. It's the second Saturday of the month of December, so we're on Xbox One. We're all ready in the playlist, ready to go. We'll just get started straight away. Wait, there's no one joining. Oh, don't do this to me. There we go. I wasn't late. I was like a few seconds late. It matters. What's a few minutes between friends? So we are, the first Saturday of every month we do this YouTube stream on PS4. The second Saturday of every month we do this YouTube stream on Xbox, and the third Saturday of every month we do this YouTube stream on PC. The fourth Saturday is reserved for the podcast. That's over on Twitch. And if there's a fifth Saturday, I just have a night to myself, maybe like 2 or 3 a year. But that's the plan anyway. Another 7 tracks to go through during this stream. We got a good mix tonight, actually. We got some stunt races. We got a stunt race to start us off. The race from the thumbnail with the skull. The Flaming Skull, it's called. We got 2 regular racing tracks, then an event style track, a rally track after that. And then we got a little bit of a different thing for the last 2 tracks, but I'll explain about that when we go through. There's nowhere for me to really... Okay, I can do it here. I think that's good enough. I don't want to go all the way to the back. So yeah, 7 tracks, Xbox One. If you want to get any of these tracks, the links to get them are always down below in the description, in the order in which we play them as well. And cool. And if you want to submit your own tracks or get any information on the community... Oh! I got wrecked. And get any information on the community verified program that you have to get a track community verified, as we call it, and then all those tracks that get verified are showcased on these streams. But all the information is on bruffy.com/verified, or alternatively the link for that is again in the description. Oh no, I'm gone. Okay, you need to actually brake on that bit. So there's the skull. Pretty cool creation. I like that. That was my bad. This hasn't been a good start. Oh wow, okay. Wait, what? Oh no! Oh no! Wow, okay, this is different. This is pretty cool. A nice way to start us off. An intriguing stunt race. Don't see those very often anymore. That's true, it's never a good start for me. Okay, let's see if the second, third and fourth laps can be a little bit better. But yeah, the second to last and third to last tracks, well technically the last 2 because I don't really count the final track, which is just to keep the playlist down to 20 players. Those tracks I'll explain more in detail at the time, but they didn't actually get verified. So we didn't have enough tracks to be verified, to be considered verified on Xbox. We had 5 verified tracks. 2 of them aren't verified that we're playing tonight. And the reason I'm playing them is to basically give an idea of what might need to be done to raise the level on them a little bit to get them up to verification standards. So hopefully it'll be a helpful helpful episode, this one. We'll see something a little bit different. We're not just going to see tracks that are good enough to be verified. We're going to see something a little bit off the mark, and we can talk about what you need to do to improve it. But for those who are interested, you can now submit another circuit if you haven't already. If you have previously. So if you've, regardless of what platform you're on, whether you're on Xbox, PS4 or PC, we're on to the second wave now of track submissions on all those platforms. Technically third wave for Xbox, but submissions have been reopened. So if you submitted a track previously, you can submit another one, or you can submit the same one again if it's been improved, and we'll go through some new testing. I like this this track. This has been a fun way to start us off, something a bit unique. Pretty cool. I like the theme. It all fits together nicely. That skull is a good creation as well. Some interesting routes for these stunt roads. They're not just random stunt roads snapped together. Oh, naughty. Wagner not got the top speed for a stunt race like this. Doesn't like the bumps as much. This is a pretty cool section. I've not seen something like this before. See questions in the chat. When's the 100th G-Fred? Next week. Next weekend. I'll have a video on the main channel explaining all about the G-Fred celebrations that we're going to do next weekend. For those asking when I play on 5M, Project Homecoming, that's obviously over on Twitch. I don't ever play that live on YouTube. Normally that's on Saturdays. Saturday afternoons, UK time. But for the last Sunday and this Sunday, I've been playing 5M. So if you come to my Twitch stream tomorrow at about the same time as this stream is now, we'll be playing some 5M, doing some fun stuff, doing some random races. No doubt that footage will make its way to YouTube anyway, but if you want to see it first, I do 3 streams a week over on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Bruffy1322. It's all in the description as well. But if you enjoy these streams, whether you're here live or watching it after the fact as a video, we do more of the same stuff over on Twitch. It'd be good to have you there. Alright, trying to hold down a top 10 after that horrendous start. It hasn't been too bad of a comeback, now that I've gotten used to the track after the first lap. Ridiculousness. Oh, there's a frame drop or two. How many? Good old Xbox. Good old Xbox. One too many laps on this one. Could have done with 3. I like to do 10 miles on each track for these content creator streams. They usually last about 6 minutes at that length, but this one's just been a bit longer. But it's all good, because it's some good fun. This is the first track in the list down below in the description if you want to get this yourself, if you're on Xbox, because tracks aren't cross-platform. But of course there's reason to watch these if you're a track creator as well, for example, and you want to get ideas. So that's pretty fun. Yeah, the hairpin, like when you go, that whole skull section was pretty cool. Like you go in the mouth of the skull and then you're in a pretty cool area in that little cove. It's good seeing, you know, new creations come up that utilize different areas of the track in different ways. Alright, so that was our first track. That was a stunt track. That was listed as a stunt track anyway. I think you could get away with it being a themed track as well, but I think that's got more in common with just, you know, a regular stunt circuit. Just made properly. Are you going to do some of the PS4 tracks that got a score like 3.98? No. No. The only reason I've done that today is because there aren't enough tracks on Xbox. Right, we'll do 3 laps, but we'll do muscle. Let's have any muscle can be allowed in this one. This is listed as a regular racing track. So the next 2 circuits are sort of playlist style races. They're not event style tracks. That's the idea behind them anyway. So yeah, the final 2 tracks, the second to last track got a score of 3.93, so it was so close to being verified. So we're going to take a look at that and see what could be done to, you know, improve it to make it verified. Some of the testers feel it should have been verified. Obviously it goes on an average score, so there were some people who gave it a score good enough to be verified, some didn't, so we'll have a look at it. And then the final track tonight got a score of 2.94. Obviously normally we have to have scores of over 4 to be verified and played on the streams. So we'll be able to look at that one as well and see, you know, what can be done to elevate that as well. Obviously the track testers score everything from a score of 0 to 5, well 1 to 5. So even though we're going to be playing a track that gets a score of 2.9, it's by no means the worst the worst score you could ever get. And yeah, you have to get a score of 4 or higher to be considered community verified and then showed on here. Please never stop this series, Bruffy, it's so nice and unique. Well, thank you. And Seamus52637, which is going to pop up on the screen. There it goes. I'm psychic. Thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. The £1 super chat. Thank you so much. Oh, interesting. A lot of stunty stuff to start us off. That's a pyramid. That is a definite pyramid. When I saw that this track was around the Grapeseed area, I think it's called Grapeseedy. Also, it really annoys me that the S in CD isn't capitalized, by the way. But when I saw that it was around the Grapeseed area, I assumed it would just be, you know, another Grapeseed circuit. Oh, well, I suppose it is. We're now on Grapeseed, but it's just extended with stunt road pieces. Okay. Interesting. Oh, the leader's choked it. Hit the inside barrier in his Yosemite. Rip. I think we played a track similar to this in the first PS4 stream. Was it Brady's track? Where it, missed it. Where it had a section of stunt road at the start of the lap and then used regular... Oh, this is where the transition is. And then we went under this section. Alright, okay. Yeah, this is pretty cool. This is a pretty nice creation. Some good visuals as well. Oh, God. So it's utilising, again, the good props. These stunt targets, which don't have bad hitboxes. Any metal barriers and stuff like that has bad hitboxes. Stunt tubes lowered into the ground as Apex props are all bad hitboxes. So it seems like all the hitboxes are fine. There's a few areas, too many areas where you can curb boost on these sections, I think, but maybe some of the visuals could go into a little bit of further refinement on some, you know, the rest of the track. Because it kind of feels like there's a little bit of a disconnect between the stunt section and then the grapeseed section. Like there's some sections of grapeseed that are propped, but then there's other sections that feel just like standard grapeseed, and it's a little bit of a jarring experience, I think. Thank you, Xbox, for this. Oh, Jesus! Magically appeared out of nowhere! Thanks, Xbox. I love your performance level for GTA. I feel like it would be nice if the grapeseed area could be propped a little bit more. That's actually pretty cool. All those tall building-like structures. I didn't notice that on this way. It's a cool layout, this. It's a really nice layout. And I've seen this done quite a lot of times where you use grapeseed and you either link it to Sandy Shores, since there's only normally one road goes there, or you extend it out into the sea by building some stunt road pieces around it. And when it's done well, it can really, you know, be a really nice experience to drive around a grapeseed track that isn't just grapeseed. Again, this isn't trying to be an event track, it's not being listed as such, it's more of a playlist circuit that you can have some fun with. And there's the cause of the frame drops. Someone trying to join. And he now finally has. But it's a really nice layout. I like the creation. I would just like to see it propped out a little bit more around grapeseed, I think, so that it feels more of a one single circuit rather than a stunt section and then a grapeseed section. But it's a good creation, this, nice. Oh no. Yeah, and when I say linking Sandy Shores and Grapeseed, I mean by way of like building a stunt road bridge over the sea. We saw that on the first PS4 stream back as well, I think. Same one. I don't believe I've just done that. I got caught in the... Damn it! Oh, I can't get back on. Oh my god, I've lost so many positions. I got caught in the dirt and then I didn't notice that there was a thing right there, and then I couldn't pull to the left quick enough because the dirt was pulling me into the right. Oh my god. Okay, that okay. The first two races have not gone well. Whoops. The city does look great. Like with the the skyscrapers in the stunt section look pretty cool. I wonder if it'd be better if you had those kind of like spread over the full track and even in the grapeseed area. I don't know. I know I ruined that. It was like one of the final corners of the track, and I crashed in a straight line. I'm so bad. My driving's been very bad lately. I was driving terribly was it Sunday? I was driving badly as well. Last time we played GTA for a prolonged period. Thank you again, Seamus, for the £1 super chat earlier. At least you're consistent. Yeah, that's true. The pyramid has slot machines in it made out of airport ticket machines. Oh, really? Wow. How do you know that? Can you actually get into it? I like that. The pyramid was a cool creation, actually. I know that that's probably on the maximum allowance for props, that track, but what I mean is I feel like there's a high concentration of prop usage on the stunt road section and a relatively lower proportion. Let's do sports. No top 3. So yeah, I was just feeling like maybe it could be better distributed. Does somebody know the reason the creator's limited to 200 props? Well, you should thank your lucky stars for 200 props. We used to have 50 on old gen. Then it was up to 100, then 150. It's only for relatively recently that we had 200 props. Your current driving is to make up for your G-Fred performance as of late. Yeah, that's true. What are the sports top 3? Pariah, Elegy, Comet, SR. No top 3. Noon, thank you. Noon? Morning? I mean, it's set to morning by default. I'm going to leave it on morning. Never mind. For those asking for noon. But yeah, the reason that they limit the prop count... I'm going to use the Massacro. Is because if you have too many props, the game starts to not like you. And give you frame drops and stuff like that. We've even seen it with if 200 props are concentrated in a very, very small area, you start to drop to like, even on console, 25 FPS and stuff. On PC, for example, you would go from 60 to 40 or something. So it's we've seen it with Project Homecoming when there's a lot of props on those, when there is no prop limit on Project Homecoming. And if there's too many props in a short area, then it does cause issues. It was always going to happen. I should have gotten off the track more, to be fair. I don't know when it snows in GTA. It's normally the 23rd to the 26th, is it? And then New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, but I mean, I don't know what they're planning to do this year. I saw somebody else in the chat asking about G-Fred as well. There'll be a video going up on the main channel before we do anything to do with the 100th G-Fred. So keep an eye out on the channel for that. Should be next weekend. That's the second time I've said it on this stream, so I won't say it anymore. To avoid boring people who are watching this as a video and repeating myself. Remember, as I said earlier, submissions are reopened for all platforms, so if you want to submit another track, you can do that. I quite like this layout. I think I read in the description for this track it was this is like a recreation of somebody else's layout. Maybe a PC track or something? I can't remember exactly what it said in the description now, I just remember reading something similar to that. And yeah, it's quite a nice layout. This is another track submitted as a regular circuit, but it does have a pit lane, so you could probably get away with hosting an event on this. But it is very high speedy in nature, so maybe it wouldn't be best suited, but I think you could. It will be 5M in tomorrow's Sunday stream, yes. This is a pretty cool section. Like, this is the section that makes the track different from just using the roads. And again, that's the sort of thing that you kind of need to stand out. Oh, is this for real? I am driving so badly. I don't like those apex props. And those yellow barriers. Couldn't those props be just used for like a stunt piece? Prop? Just the usual apex barriers. I like those red blocks. But anyway, yeah, like that stunt road piece is what sets it apart, because it changes the layout of the track outside of what you could otherwise do on regular roads. And it's that kind of thing that, you know, you need to have to set yourself apart, something that's not just looking at the roads of Los Santos and then creating a track that goes around those roads. This section again is another section where it's adding some uniqueness to the roads that you can normally drive on. Yeah, I like this. Nice track. Jester versus Massacro. There's an old battle. A battle from the good old days of races. Back on old gen. They were released at the same time, if I remember rightly. Oh no, they were released, one was after another. The race car versions were released at the same time. I think it was like the second and the third ever DLCs for GTA back on old gen released to the Jester and then the Massacro. I think it was the Massacro first. Ah, the good old days. Jesus, that was so long ago now. So many years ago. Oh, thank you, Infinity 101. It's not usual for me to do for this recent period. My driving's been pretty bad lately. I don't know whether it's just because I'm not playing GTA as much, so every time I come back to it... Oh! That's quite the crash. Yeah, like every time I come back to GTA, it's been a week almost of a break from racing on it, so I think it's just taking me longer and longer to get back to grips with it again, I think. Making too many easy mistakes. I've always liked that section in the Massacro. Yeah, cool track this, I like it. The only thing I don't like is the red blocks as apex props, but apart from that... Oh, make it, yes! I enjoyed. So that was the third track in the list. So again, if you're wanting to get any of these, they are down below in the description in the order in which we're playing them, the links. I feel like every time I come back to a Bruffy stream, you're missing a rear windscreen. That is fair enough. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, I would say. I think it's well known that my top 3 favourite cars are Pacemaster Dominator, the Omnus and the Italia GTB. Beyond that, I'm not sure. I've been meaning to make a video for a long time about my favorite top, like update the top 5 favorite cars video. I'll get to it eventually. They're not in the right order. You are correct, they are not in the right order. I fixed that. Now they're in the right order. I mean, you might have to refresh if you're watching live to see them in the right order, but that was sticks. My bad. So we'll do sports classics for this one. We'll allow any sports classics, it's fine. Stick it on noon. This could be a little tight with 20 people. Well, we'll deal. I think for the 20, because we've got, obviously next week is going to be the PC version of this. But then we're going to have like essentially a 2-week break because there's 2 Saturdays left in December. So the next one after that will be the PS4 stream on the first Saturday of January. And I'm thinking that we're going to start doing harmonic starts for all of the races in these content creator streams. Hopefully after like the first time of doing it, people, I mean, we do harmonic starts quite regularly on my Twitch streams, but just not on YouTube. But I think people will get it eventually. It'll be like kind of a 15 seconds, no messing about, sticky bomb goes off, and then first person starts, or we'll just leave it up to the first person to start whenever he decides to within the first 15 seconds or something. So it's not taking a ridiculous amount of time, but hopefully it'll make the races a little bit cleaner, at least the start of the races. But we'll bring that in for 2019. Can we get Drag Kings in SUVs this week? Yes. If I put it on, if I turn custom vehicles off, then yes. Since Seamus did a super chat earlier. Terminal velocity. If you don't join within the next few seconds, you're gonna have to leave. Everybody is familiar with harmonic starts, Mark. We've done harmonic starts on all the platforms. On Twitch at least. We've just never done them on here. Mainly just to keep things going quicker. So it's just into the race, go, start. There we go. Turismo Classic. How do we take part in the PS4 races? These are closed off to permanent crew members only. My Twitch streams are we open up the crew for everybody to join. Bruffy.com/join gives you all the information that you need about that. If you want to get involved in either these or races on the Twitch streams. No, Juggernaut, I refuse. I'm not going to even comment on that until it actually pops up on the screen. Oh, I got a very good start. Why did I get such a good start? There should be a pit lane on this track. I'll take to the pit lane on the first lap. It was pointed out to me that it would be a good idea for me to test the pit lanes on event-style races. So it's a good idea for me to do that, I think, and that's a way for me to get back into the mid-pack without going all the way to the back. So this is our first and only event-style track. It was at least submitted as an event-style track. So this is trying to be, you know, good enough to be able to host high-level racing events on GTA. That's why you got to have a pit lane for something like that. The use of metal barriers would automatically give me pause to consider this for an event track, honestly. There's a few areas where I've seen metal barriers already and they're just no good. The hitboxes on them are terrible. So that would be my first improvement. Again, always going to be a little bit more harsh when something's trying to be an event track. You don't want anything potentially changing the outcome of a race. What? This is going to be interesting. Oh, we're going here. I knew that was a dead end, so I was thinking, well, where the hell are we going to go? Yeah, you don't want anything that is outside of the driver's skill affecting the outcome of a race on an event-style track. Wait, where the hell is the playlist? The pit lane. Is it down here? Oh, it's down here. Okay. And obviously when you've got things that have pretty bad hitboxes, such that you have invisible hitboxes, like the metal barriers have, then you could perfectly take a corner, but because there's an invisible hitbox there, you end up crashing out. So that's why we're always against things that have bad hitboxes. Metal barriers, stunt tubes, things like that. When it comes to proper event-style circuits. I've seen a few sticky tire stacks, which aren't too good. And there's also quite a lot of individual lampposts blocked off. I'm going to show you that. So this is no good. That needs to be changed on the inside there. And these on the right, I don't see why that is even a thing. There should just be a wall there, in my opinion. Just use a stunt block, block it all off, then you got more props elsewhere. No sticky tire stacks like those. The pit lane exit was a bit of an issue, I think, because it exited basically right into the racing line, but not too big of a deal. It can certainly, you know, when you're in a high-level racing event, you've got people who know what they're doing, or at least should do. So I think it's not too big of a deal. And it had the slowdown zone, which worked. So I was particularly harsh about this track on the first 2 laps on purpose to get those things out there and explain what could still be improved on this track. Now I'll talk about the good bits. Yeah, right onto the racing line at a walking pace. Yeah, the pit lane exit needs work. It's not good. If anything, by you not having all the prop usage used up by these stupid single prop lamppost covers, tire stacks, and the concrete blocks, all that prop space could be used to maybe make a little bridge exit for the pit lane, or better prop the pit lane so that it's not coming out onto the racing line at walking pace. And this should just be blocked off with a big block. See, because things like that happen. Absolute carnage. 5 cars have crashed there because one person made a mistake. That's not how an event track should be. But I think I've made my point about the issues. It's still certainly good enough to have been verified. You know, I'm not saying that it doesn't deserve the 4 that it got. It's still a good track, and I think one of the best parts about it is this layout. This layout is incredible. Thank you for the donations, by the way, Julian. I will catch up with them in a second. I know that the road is not straight there, so that's why he used concrete blocks, but you can quite easily use a straight block piece to cover off all of that without worrying too much about the fact that you don't have to line up perfectly with everything. Just block off that whole section. And there's no need for like a concrete tube on the side there. There's a few areas where the props could be improved. I think the prop selection, more so than anything else, is, rather than prop usage, is the main issue. And just props placed in such a way that it's a bit of a waste of prop space that could be better utilised elsewhere. But finally, to get onto what I was saying, the layout of this track is incredible. It's awesome. Again, I'm only being so harsh because it was submitted as an event circuit, and you know, that's what you gotta expect. But my bad. This, specifically around here, is really cool. To be racing up along this area is really inventive, I've got to say. So yeah, it's a really nice... Oh, well, of course! Thank you, lag! I bet that was terminal velocity trying to get in there again. So yeah, I feel like as an event-style circuit, that's a little bit rough from prop usage. I feel like a little bit better can be done with the prop selection and the way that the props are used around the track for an event, for something that wants to be an event circuit. But that's a great layout, and I can see why it was verified, because the layout is great. It's so fun. There's so many good corners, and then it's extended as well around, especially around that section around the shopping mall area. It's a really, really good layout, and I think that could be a very, very top level track with a few things changed about the prop usage and prop selection. Portal to Ascension. Yeah, it's really cool. I like that. That was our 4th track anyway. Our 5th track that we're going to be playing next is the final track of the circuits that were verified. That got a score of over 4. And it's a rally track. So we've had a good mix today, I think. Hello to everybody who's watching live, by the way, all 400 of you. Thank you for being here. Hope you're enjoying. And wait, let me just set this up. So let's do 8 laps, and we're probably better off doing non-contact, I think. Just with it being a rallycross track, it's very short. Obviously rally cars for this one, everybody who's in this race. Juggernaut Pro with the $2 super chat. Hit a dank dab for the viewers. It's not my thing, man. And another $2 after that with happy birthday, of course. Thank you, Juggernaut Pro, for the $4 super chat. I need to switch out the top donator thing as well whilst I remember. There you go. Thank you, Juggernaut Pro. This did get a very low 4, yes. This got a score of 4.09. The last few tracks that we've had have all been around the 4.2, 4.3 range, the first few. So they've all been pretty close. I mean, again, as I say multiple times, it's very, very difficult to get a... I mean, it's very difficult to get a score of over 4. But it's very difficult to get a score of over 4.5. Because then you're relying on a lot of testers to give you scores of 5, or at least everybody to give you a score of 4.5, and that's very difficult to do. The highest rated track that we've played so far since we've had this new community verified testing was in the first PS4 stream with West Mirror GP. That had a score of like 4.9 something, which is crazy that they got scored so highly, but it was just that good. But most of the verified tracks get around between 4.0 and 4.5. So we're on a rallycross track. The grid needs fixing, just as a point of note. Looked like it was bugged out. But I like rallycross tracks. We'll see what this one's like. We've played quite a few rallycross tracks over the years of these content creator streams. Ever since really I created LSGP Rallycross track and we did that Rallycross event. It was some event. Still on the channel. Oh. You can't get less than 4 if you don't submit. I mean, that's true. So I'm guessing that's the pit lane on the right hand side, which is a little bit dodgy for the contact race, but you're not really going to need... Pit lanes are pretty much useless in rallycross races. You don't need a pit lane on a rallycross track. Where's the Joker lap? I think I saw where it was, but... Oh my days, I'm so bad again. So we got a little jump. Okay, that isn't the best Joker lap. So for those who don't know, when it comes to rallycross, the idea is that you have between 4 and 6 people racing around. So they're meant to be very short circuits. They're a mix between road and rally. And you have to take the Joker lap once during the course of a race, and everybody has to do it, so there's a bit of tactics involved in when you do that. They're usually like 4-6 lap races, very short. You know, you can take a joker lap early, get out of everybody else's way. You can leave it till late if everybody else makes theirs early. There's various tactics involved in when the best time is to take a joker lap, and it's a little extra element to it. And the joker lap is usually a longer version of the lap. It can also be a shorter version of the lap, but that's more in the US where they're trying to be a bit different. In the World Rallycross Championship, it's a long lap. The main problem I have with this one is that you're turning right when other people are turning left. Like, that's no good. The amount of crashes that you'd have on that section is insane. See, you've got 4 people close together. Half of them go right, half of them go left. Everybody's slowing down. So, I don't like that implementation of the joker lap. I'm just going to put it out there now. As far as a rallycross track goes, though, this is pretty fun. It's a nice little layout. Obviously using, I mean, there's been a lot of Redwood rallycross races using the Redwood Lights track. But this is a little bit different, I think, with the stunt road pieces in certain areas, and we obviously go onto the road in certain areas as well. But that joker lap needs to change. It needs to be put maybe somewhere else. You ideally want a joker lap to be very similar to a pit lane, where it feeds out or feeds into the main track without any issue, so that people can get up to racing speed or get off the track to take their joker lap without causing anybody else any issue. And that doesn't really work for this one, because yeah, you've got cars turning right and left at the same time. I mean, there's so many places you could put it. But it just, as always with joker laps and always with pit lanes, they need to exit, because that's not a very good pit lane exit either. They need to exit in a way that's not going to cause any other drivers any issue. Same with the entry. I haven't gone full Gordon Ramsay to who said that in the chat. I'm just trying to give some, you know, proper criticism so that people can improve stuff. Other than that, I mean, I'm focusing on talking about the things that can be improved, obviously, because I think that's how everybody, you know, learns and gets better, and maybe you can see certain things in these tracks and things that I'm saying that need improving on your own tracks and stuff like that. So hopefully it helps people in general. But, you know, on the whole, it's not as if I'm saying this should never have been verified. Like, it's still a very good rallycross track. It's got a fun layout. It's a good track overall, apart from those things. I like it. I think it's deserving to be verified. It's just the joker lap that needs sorting out. Could also put a stunt block. Someone else took the joker lap. Thank you. It's obviously more difficult when you're the only person in a race like this taking the joker lap, but thank you, Peacocks. There's a left-hand turn coming up. It's on the outside of it. It has a metal barrier there. I feel like a block could just be used to cover all of that, because if you catch the end of that metal barrier, you end up, you know, clipping the back end of the car and spinning out. That's the only other improvement, I think. Beyond that, pretty good rallycross track. I like the layout. Quite bumpy, which is fun to have something a bit different. I wouldn't make a very good Gordon Ramsay. I mean, there are terrible. If there are terrible tracks, if there are tracks on the F1 calendar with terrible pit lanes, why do we need good pit lanes on GTA? Because we adhere to higher standards than Formula 1 circuits. I thought that was nice. I enjoyed it as a rallycross track. You won't see anybody using the flash because we don't allow the flash in rallycross races or rally races when we use sports cars. We ban the use of the flash because it's too quick. And it's god-awful to drive. My god, it's so much fun on Project Homecoming, the Flash GT, without the handling flags. It's so bad on regular GTA. All right. Let's do muscle again, but non-top 4, 5, whatever it is. Non-top many. The 3 Dominators, the Yosemite, and the Sabre Turbo Custom. You're not allowed to use those. That description. So this is our 5th track, 6th track, sorry, in the playlist. This is the first one that we've played since we started doing all of this again. This is the first one that we're gonna play on a stream that didn't get a score. This track is best in Sports Classics. Alright, well, we'll do the muscle thing in the next race. We'll do Sports Classics now again. As a recommendation from people who know the track. So this is the first one that didn't get a score of 4. So this is the first one that officially, as of right now, hasn't been verified. It got a score of 3.93. So it was 0.07 away from being verified. Again, like I say, and again, all the information is on the broofy.com/join. There's 10 testers. They each give a score of 1 to 5. You have to get an average score of over 4 to be able to be verified. So the average score that the testers gave this track ended up being 3.93. So there would have been probably some of them that gave it a 4.5, a 4.6, but maybe others who gave it a 3.4 or a 3.3 or something like that. And it worked out that it just wasn't enough. So we're going to take a look at it and we're going to see what might need doing to it to turn it into a 4. What is the last little thing that's missing on this track that is holding it back from being verified? And we can have a direct comparison between all the other tracks that we've had tonight that were verified with scores of like 4.2, 4.3. Again, this isn't a standard thing. This isn't something that I'm going to be doing all the time. It's just because there hasn't been enough enough tracks that we've had verified on Xbox One. Obviously, Xbox One is the smallest of the 3 platforms, which is why it's had 2 refreshes already, and now it's on its 3rd wave of track submissions. But this was submitted as a regular racing circuit. Both the final 2 tracks were submitted as a regular racing circuit, so not event style circuits, more like casual playlist races. Oh, I'm gone. I'm gone. Wow. It's missing a blimp. Should you not be able to overrule? Theoretically, MB Hammer, I could. But I don't test the tracks. This on these streams, for the most part, is the first time I ever try these tracks. So I leave it up to the testers. I don't want to have any influence on what becomes verified, because then, you know, it's not Ruffy verified, it's community verified. And then I'm just showcasing what they do. But I could theoretically add an 11th score to the list. And it would just need a score of, you know, anything higher than a 4.1 probably to get this to be verified, I imagine. Destructible yellow and black barriers on the inside of corners. There's one thing. That's not the only place they are though. Could do with a checkpoint down there as well. There they are again. Get rid of those. Those are no good. Someone hits those, they go all over the track. We mentioned that in a previous stream. They go all over the track. And people have issues on the debris. There is a lot of stunt road stuff, but again, this is meant to be a regular racing circuit. It's not meant to be an event style circuit, so I'm okay with that. It's got a pretty fun layout. Oh, he's gone off the side. Oh! I mean, he was already turning before I hit him there, so... Not a lot can really go wrong on this section. A few of the testers, when they saw that I'd put this in, said that this should have been verified. So there's obviously some testers who gave it a score of over 4, some who maybe gave it a score of less than 4. I feel like when as I'm looking at it now, there's maybe one place like here we could do with another checkpoint, because it just feels a bit bare. You could totally skip across that. I'm pretty sure you could skip across that since there's no checkpoint. Done that again. And those destructible barriers need to be removed. But beyond that, I think this is good. I'm enjoying it. I can see why it got a score of 3.93. Like, I can see why it was so close to being verified, because there's, I feel like what is this stinger even doing? I feel like those black and yellow black and yellow barriers and that lack of a checkpoint are pretty glaring errors. They do hold it back a little bit. And some testers will consider that worse. Some testers might not have a problem with it as much because it's, you know, not trying to be an event track, it's more towards being a bit of fun. If it was me rating this, I probably would have given it I would have given it like a 4.25, 4.3, something like that. I'm not one for liking a lot of stunt road pieces, so that's why I wouldn't give it anything necessarily higher from a subjective standpoint. But from an objective, you know, good quality creation, I think this was good enough to be verified, so I'm glad we've shown it anyway. If we put my 4.3 to the scores, that'll probably bring it over 4, and I guess that makes it verified at this point. So we've had a verification of a track midstream. How about that? Because I think this was good enough to be verified, certainly on the level of some of the other tracks that we've seen today. Like it's not a wow track for me, and I still think there's, you know, there's plenty of improvements with regards to the props and things, and the layout is fun, but it's too many long corners for me. I can see both sides. I can see why it's been so maybe divisive and so close, and why it's, you know, on that edge of a 4 and an edge of getting verified. But I have to think about it from an objective standpoint, and from an objective standpoint, if it was totally subjective, I would probably give it like a 3.9 as well, I think. But from an objective standpoint, I would give it a 4.2. I think. Everything you said was exactly all the critique that the testers gave. Well, there you go. It's not rocket science, I guess. But yeah, I think that was good enough to be verified. It wasn't necessarily my cup of tea entirely, but it was a good track, a fun track for a regular racing track that's meant to be suitable for casual playlist racers, not trying to be a full-on hardcore event track. I liked it. But yeah, that checkpoint needs to be added. I'm pretty sure you can skip across there. Definitely needs to be a checkpoint in between those two that I mentioned. 4.2 is my final score for that one. I'm pretty sure that would then put it over the 3.93 that it has now, put it over the 4 threshold. So that is our 6th verified track for tonight. The to give people a quick rundown, yeah, missing a checkpoint, I guess, is a bit of a bigger issue, I think. You can't skip across, tested that during the testing. Okay, I still think you need a checkpoint there, though. Missing a checkpoint is a bit of a bigger deal, but anyway. So let's do this. That's the same muscle thing that we were talking about last time. So no dominators, no no dominators, no Saber Turbo Customs, or the other one, whatever that is. Yosemite. I always forget about the Yosemite. So this track got a score of 2.94 So this was very close to being a 3, but I only realised today that it has actually been updated since it was tested. So we'll see if it's been updated enough. We'll check it out. It was a 2.9. The one thing I will say, first impressions are important. Capitalise the damn title. It's so frustrating. We've had a verified track tonight that was uncapitalised on one of the words, but it's so... capitalise the titles, please. It's not difficult. But yeah, I wanted to quickly give you the rundown of what the scores are. Generally, a score of 0 is that it's not been rated. It's either got less than 30 players, it's not the right link, miscategorized, something like that. A score of 1 means it's very bad. It's the opposite of what a track should be. You need to start over. A score of 2 is not an enjoyable experience, but it can still be saved with many, many changes. A score of 3 is that it's usable, but it still has much room for improvement. A score of 4 is very good, but it can still be better with some small changes, which I think that that fits the previous track perfectly. And then a score of 5 is perfect, no need for improvement. So those are the scores that the testers are using to decide on, you know, the scores for these tracks. I'd better not slow down, it'd be in a terrible place. So that's the sort of criteria that the testers are thinking about. That's why it's very difficult to get a high 4 score, because to get a score of 5, a tester has to believe that the track is absolutely perfect and no slight of small change or improvement could make it any better. But a score of 4 is obviously a very, very good track, needs just a few small changes. And this track almost got a score of 3 on average. So we're going to, obviously it's nowhere near being the worst kind of track that we would have gotten during this testing. There's plenty of tracks that get scores of 1 point something, 2 point something. Thank you for that. But like I said, it does seem like this has been updated. It's actually had its name changed as well, but still not capitalized. Titles of everything should be capitalized. If it's names of people, names of tracks, things need capitalizing when it's a title of something or a name of something. But yeah, this originally got a score of 2.93, so it was very close to being a score of 3, which means that it would have been, it's a good track, but it still needs much room for improvement. Oh, he's flown. He has flown. There's a glaring issue in the track. A big hole in the middle of it. One of the main criticisms that I saw from the testers was that the checkpoints needed a lot of work on this track. Checkpoint issues, like they weren't spaced out very well. So maybe the creator of this track has taken the feedback. Obviously there's oftentimes feedback given for the tracks. That the testers give, and those are put on the main public spreadsheet as notes, so you can get some feedback on your tracks. And it feels like he has taken some of that feedback and done some improvements. Obviously the track has changed a little bit, because it feels a little bit better than a 3, well, a 2.93, so that it's such that this got, but I wouldn't say that this was yet a 4. So at least we can still talk about what this might need to do. You know, if you've got a track and you've submitted it, and if you're in the range of a 1, between a 1 and a 2, then you probably should just start over, or really get involved in some community that's gonna give you some tips, or watch these videos a bit more, to try and get some more ideas of what you should and shouldn't do. But if you're in the sort of 2.5 to 3 range, 2.5 to 3.5, maybe close to a 4, hopefully the tips that we've given during this stream and during this race, and the improvements that I suggest for this race, will help when it comes to getting your track a little bit higher up in terms of score. Just give you that extra little bit to get from a 3 to a 4 in a few testers' minds, a 3.8 to a 4.2 or something like that, and it just puts you over that threshold as an average score of 4. Missing a rear windscreen again, of course. So the checkpoints feel like they aren't as bad as what they might have been, but there's still a lot of room for improvement on checkpoints. That's missable. I almost missed that. You can completely skip over that apex and miss that checkpoint. But the idea with checkpoints is that the general rule, as we always say, is the next checkpoint should be able to be seen from the previous checkpoint, and it should be as far away as possible, such that holds. So it should be as far away as possible, such that you can still see it. And though that checkpoint there, though they were too close together, you know, there's not an awful lot of indication that you're going to be turning right there, especially when these ammunition signs can be broken, so they're not great, to be honest, as props. But I guess they can do. That's a bit ugly. You can totally skip over that and have a crash. These checkpoints are okay, but there's quite a few checkpoints I've noticed, especially towards the end of the lap, that are too close together. Yeah, these ammunition signs are there to let people know that they're not meant to go there, but having... Oh yeah, there's way too many checkpoints here, by the way. Way too many. There's like... When you're hitting 3 checkpoints in the course of like 6 seconds, then you know you've got too many checkpoints. Could quite easily have done with just, say, 1 there. Should be a sign on the outside there to put you into this lane. Should be some barriers across there maybe, so you're not accidentally going that way. And again, these barriers that are leading you into different areas of the track shouldn't be destructible. They shouldn't be able to be destroyed like these ammunition signs. You've got to get your mind into... That's a bit... Yeah, that's dodgy as well. That's really messy. This is messy. Because you're coming on this part of the track, you run wide, and then you're underneath a bit of stud track. So yeah, don't overlap stunt track pieces for one bit of road into the piece of road on another part of the track. That's definitely not a good idea. Obviously we saw that there was a bit of a hole in the track that the car flipped at one point. In general, this is sort of a decent layout. There's, you know, again, I would give this a 3.2 maybe, something like that, personally. It's definitely not good enough to be verified yet, but it's got potential, you know. It's a pretty decent layout. It just needs a bit of refinement in certain areas. There is a link on the bruffy.com/join page to a creator community, a content creator community set up by one of the test. Yeah, that's a bad corner. That needs to be fixed. There, he's missed the checkpoint. The apex the checkpoint needs to be on the apex. You can't cut a corner on the apex and be able to miss the checkpoint. It does. It needs a bit of TLC, but yeah, one of the Xbox testers, and then there's quite a few other testers who are involved in that Discord community, and they help people with tracks. It's linked on the bruffy.com/join page. It's in part of the text, and this is a kind of track that needs that. It feels like it needs, and I think it needs, and a lot of tracks are like this, people to give it a different, give the creator a separate thought on something. This is one of those tracks, I think, where the creator knows it, and obviously it's very easy to get into this. When you're creating something, you know the track back to front, so you know where all the little things are on it, where you're going to be going. You have to put yourself in the mindset of those who've never raced the track before. Is it clear where to go? Do I need a barrier there? What if that barrier gets destroyed and then it's not clear where to go? You know, I mean, these ammunition barriers are, of course. I need to do it to prove the point now. There we go. God damn it. But it needs a little bit of refinement. It's not a bad track. It's not on the level that is required to be considered verified. It needs some refinement. It needs some love. It needs some attention. It needs some other people to give some ideas about what can be done and give some detailed information about what could be fixed. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of tracks that are submitted that are kind of like this. They're just a little bit rough around the edges, but they're not bad tracks. And joining a creator community can, you know, definitely help with stuff like that, because the best tracks are made by constant refinement. Someone makes a track, then they have, you know, 5, 6, 7 people test it in a community. People give their thoughts, they go back, make the improvements, then people test it again, people give their thoughts, make the improvement. It's constant, you know. The best tracks that we see as part of this verified series, in fact all the tracks that get verified, they're not just created in a day and left. They're refined, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. I think the West Mirror GP that is so highly rated from the early PS4 stream, it must have been iterated on 20, 25, 30 times. This track was massively changed from our testing. Yeah, and it seems like it. It seems like the creator of this track, to his credit, has taken some of the things that have been said and made this track better. But maybe it's changed in other ways. I don't know. I didn't play it previously. I would still give it a better score than a 2.9. I would give it a 3.2, I think, still. But it still needs quite a bit of refinement to be able to be thinking about a score of 4, in my mind. So hopefully that's helped people. Hopefully it's not only helped the creator himself, but it's helped anybody else who's... Oh, the layout has completely changed from the version we tested. Alright, okay, so everything's completely changed. Okay. Never mind. Well, it's still, you know, the points still stand, I think. Yeah, it's got some issues with it. It's not very clear where to go and stuff like that. I agree. People are mentioning the limitations in the chat, even just now. But, you know, this is a one-off, playing a track that gets a score of under 4. It's not something that I'm going to be doing regularly, but hopefully it has helped. Hopefully it's helped you guys who create tracks. Remember, you can submit your circuits again if you have previously submitted a circuit. You are able to submit another circuit now. It's been reopened. Submissions have been reopened for all the platforms. And yeah, submission link is down below in the description or on bruffy.com/verified. And that's all of our 7 tracks today. 6 of them now have been verified. 1 of them wasn't. And I'm not gonna play, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna play any of the tracks that get a score of like 1 or 1.5 or something like that. There's just no point. Those are tracks that can't be saved. It could serve as a way to point out everything that you shouldn't do, maybe, but I'm not sure what the value in that necessarily is. Oh, I'm not going to use the contender. I can't bring myself to do it. and I don't want to make anybody feel bad about anything, you know. So that's probably, yeah, Drag Kings. This track is a perfect example of a score of like between 1 and 1.5. This would be a perfect example. No pole coverage, crossovers, you know. Again, this is the first track I ever created on the day the creator was first released. The reason that we have it at the end of these playlists is to limit the playlist to 20 people. As the blimp always says, thanks for watching. Oh, Jesus. All these scumbags using XLSs and contenders. I'm all about that Huntley life. But yeah, we just do something a little bit different every week. One lap shootout just at the end for a bit of fun. This is a 3.9 track, I don't think so. So yeah, hopefully it's been helpful. Hopefully there has been some good tips, and I think there is some value in showing some lesser scored tracks, because it shows the kind of, you know, the difference when you compare some of the verified tracks to some of the tracks that get lesser scores, and then you can see, you know, for yourself right in front of you and compare them and see what exactly is different and what makes a track verified, good enough to be verified, and what's just below it. But yeah, like I said, we've only done this because Xbox didn't have enough verified tracks for this week. Again, submissions are open again all across all platforms, so get your submissions in. Join the various, you know, the content creator community that was mentioned, and it is listed on the web page. You can join my Discord, ask for help there as well, and feedback on tracks. It's all about getting involved and constantly iterating to make your tracks better and better and better. And you can't do that with just yourself. You need other people to race them. So yeah, that does us for tonight. Scumbag contenders. When they're contenders in the top 3 spots there? There were. Huntley S for life. I'm proud of that 4th place in the Huntley S. I was the real winner. I was the winner that had some self-respect and not used a contender. So yeah, that'll do us for today. And we're back again next week. Obviously last week we did PS4. We're back again next week with the PC tracks. And like I said, the links for everything that you need to know are down below in the description. Thank you guys for being here and watching. Thank you everybody, well, those guys down there, for the super chats. And I'll see you guys same time next week for the PC tracks. Alright, that should do us. And again, as always guys, thank you for the support on the videos. Hopefully you're still enjoying, and feel free to come to my Twitch streams if you want more of this kind of stuff. Remember, 5M tomorrow night. Should be fun. Got some good ideas for races. Alright guys, thanks for watching. See you later.